In 1 through 4, choose the letter of the statement below that is true about the quantities in column 1 and column 2. And it gives you the 4 different choices. So the number in column 1 is greater, the number in column 2 is greater. The two numbers are equal, the relationship cannot be determined. Okay, and we're looking at number 3. So for number 3, we have 3x squared minus 9, and we're plugging in f of negative 1. We can zoom in, I think, far enough in on this problem where we can work it. If I put a negative 1 in here and square it, it comes back as a positive 1. And then I'm left with 3 minus 9. 3 minus 9 is going to be a negative 6. So over here on this one, if I put in a positive 1 there and square it, I get 1. And I'm left with negative 3 minus 9. That's a negative 12. So I end up with negative 6, negative 12, and from my statements up there, the number in column 1 is greater. Well, that certainly applies to this. Negative 6 is greater than negative 12, so the answer would have to be A. Here's a bonus answer while we're waiting on the practice test to be finished. Irrational number. This comes from middle school. Irrational number. A rational number is something that you can create from division. So this is a rational number. That's a rational number. A negative integer is a rational number. But something that's going to be repeating is not going to be a rational number. Which property is illustrated below? You have 6 times the quantity of 8 plus 4. And then you're distributing the 6 to each item inside, so that would have to be D. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then 2 plus the quantity of 6 minus 3. That's going to be 3, so 2 plus 3 would be 5. The identity property would not change the value of what you're starting with. So in each case you're starting with a 6, and in only one case in here do you end up with something that is 6 on the right of the equal sign. So it should be A. 3 times 9, we could do that to get 27, and then add to that 20 over 8 plus 2, that would be 2. And that's times, I believe, right here, so that would be times 15 and then divide by 3. That would have to be done together. 30 divided by 3 is 10, so 27 plus 10 would be 37. Which operation do you use first to evaluate? You have to go to brackets first. So here are the brackets. And inside the brackets you go to the parentheses. You can't do anything with the exponent until you do this. 7 minus 2 is going to be 5. So you would have to do subtraction before you do anything else. Choose the letter of the statement below that is true about the quantities in column 1 and 2. And there are your 4 choices, A, B, C, D. Now we're going to look at this one first, over here. And this is all one problem. So we'll simplify it a little bit. We'll leave this the way it is. Over here, this is 8 plus 9. 8 plus 9 is going to be 17, so this is really 6 over 17. And then, of course, down here we have times 10 times 2. That's going to be a 20. So this problem works out to be 1/3 plus 6 over 17 times 20, which is the same as 1/3 plus 120 over 17. And you can estimate on this. You don't really have to get the entire right answer, but 120 over 17, let's see, 17 goes into 85 at least 5 times. Then 102 would be 6. 119 would be 7. So we have approximately 119 plus a third, so it's between 119 and 120. Over here we have, let's see, 20 times 6. That would be 120. 8 plus 9 is 17. That should look familiar. And then plus 1/3. Isn't that the exact same thing that we had over here? 1/3 plus 120 over 17. And so that would be choice C. If W equals the quantity of 3 minus 5, that is -2. And Z is 2 to the third, that's 8. What is the value of B? Well, that's going to be 6 times the quantity squared of -2 minus 8 times 3. And all of that's equal to B. That's a 4 times 6 is 24. And then minus 24 would be 0. I'll record this one. Which expression is the same as x to the -3rd, y to the -2nd over y to the 3rd? So we'll zoom in here, and this will be equivalent to moving this to the bottom to get x to the 3rd, moving that to the bottom to get y to the 2nd, and you already have a y to the 3rd on the bottom. So now simplify that. X to the 3rd has nothing to simplify with, but you have y to the 2nd, y to the 3rd, which is y to the 5th. So 1 over x to the 3rd, y to the 5th would be D. If f of x equals 4x minus 8 and g of x equals x minus 2, what is the rule of f minus g? That's just another way of saying what is the result of f minus g. So f minus g is going to be 4x minus 8, but you're subtracting g. It's a quantity. When you subtract a quantity, you put it in parentheses, minus the quantity of x minus 2. Distribute the negative sign outside the quantity to get minus x plus 2, and then go back through and simplify. 4x minus x is 3x, negative 8 plus 2 is minus 6, so 3x minus 6. Choice is C. Which function is the inverse of the function y equals -3/4 x plus 2? Well, let's find the inverse. So we'll zoom in here, and we're going to switch x and y. So x equals a -3/4 y plus 2, and we're going to solve for y. Move the plus 2 to the left, make it minus 2. And then we need to get rid of the -3/4. If we multiply through by a 4 on both sides, if I multiply this by 4 and this by 4, what I come up with is 4 times the quantity x minus 2 equals a -3y. This cancels out here. And then divide both sides by a -3y. Or not a y, just a -3. These will cancel. And on the top, if you expand this out, you come up with 4x minus 8. And on the bottom, a -3. Now look at your answers and see if that matches anything in there. It does not, because they have broken it apart. So go back and make it a -4x over 3 plus 8 over 3. Double negative in division. And all of this equal to y. So let's find the answer. It's a -4/3 x. So that eliminates this one, and this one, and this one. It is this, C.